Interview a crafter. And we have the lovely Miss Judy with us today. If you want to say hi, Miss Judy, everybody can see you now.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, they know my everybody in my southern lingo.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But yeah, if everybody, as you're hopping on, say hi, give us some feedback so we know the audio is working and everything's working the way it's supposed to be. Everybody can hear her from what you can see? Okay, perfect. Heather was giving me feedback kind of live here
Good.
too, so which is great. So
Well,
yeah,
that's good.
I'm gonna give a quick intro so everybody gets a chance to know a little bit about Miss Judy. This that I've got up here is going to show you guys everything that we got going on this evening. This is Miss Judy Wilburn. She is with You Live, right? That's how you pronounce. That's how you say that.
You style
You
designs.
Style. I don't know why I said You Live. Don't mind me.
Because we're live.
Yeah, you are live. That's what I
That's
meant.
right.
But she has her Facebook page, um, which is listed showing up there, custom made by Judy. That's facebook.com/custom made by Judy. And then she has the YouTube channel as well, which is You Style Designs Black Bear Glitters Tutorials. So if you want to watch more of what her and what she does, you're welcome to hop over there. But otherwise, the floor is yours if you want to show kind of what we're going to be doing, and then
All
I'll
right. All
start with the
right.
questions.
Everybody that knows me, they know when I work, I turn my camera down. So that's what I'm going to do. Get it turned down so we can go over some of the things that we're going to be doing. And I am going to see if I can pull us up on my computer so I can make sure that I can see and you can see what's going on. So uh, give me just a minute. I don't see it showing yet, but anyway, you give me some feedback, Cameron. Can you see
Yeah,
the
we can see
tumbler?
fine. We can see fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, now this is the tumbler style that I'm going to be doing. And the first thing we're going to do is the background part. We'll do that because this needs to dry before we can finish all the other part. But I'm going to show you two versions of this. I just sort of went in and reversed the wood grain so you can make a different look out of it. And then tonight, I want you guys to help me determine which design we're going to do. I've got one set up where we can do a purple, different colors with purple. And then I've got one set up patriotic where we can do one. And this one has 3 V's on it. So y'all give us some feedback right quick of what you would like to see. The one that is the patriotic or the one that is the purple colors. And then we'll decide which way we're going to go. But we'll be doing this background with the cellophane and alcohol inks. So that's how we'll get this look in the background. So
That is
that'll be the
cute.
first thing that we do.
I think that's really cute. I like the red, white, and
Okay.
blue, me personally, only because of the fourth
Well,
being
I
right here.
thought, yeah, after I got to thinking with it being 4th of July coming up, that might be a better one to do, just to do the red, white, and blue. So we'll look at doing that. And then I'll go back to show you how we do all this other and make it easy peasy to do. So the
I like
first
that
thing
you
we're going
labeled
to
it
do
that,
now,
by the way.
yeah, I'm going to put on my gloves because I don't like ink all over my hands. So that's what we're going to do first. And this is a messy, messy job. Every time I do messy, somebody else may can do it without it being messy. But the only 2 colors I'm going to use, I have a white tumbler, and it is a 30-ounce skinny. And came from Southern Palmetto stainless steel tumblers, and the inks came from Black Bear Glitters. So we're going to be using the indigo blue, and then we're going to use red pepper. And that's the only colors that we're going to use. And we just dribble our ink all over the cellophane. I'm sure many of you have seen this done in other tutorials.
I'm getting
And
some feedback to ask about your note cards.
oh, yes. I do note cards anytime I do a tumbler, and they're index cards. And any cup that I do, I always put the date that I do it. I put the style it is, and I put all the stuff that I use, all the colors, the kind of tumblers, the kind of glitter, the colors of glitter. I always make a note of all of that on all the ones that I do. And I found that that really helps to go back. And then if something messes up, then you know by looking at that what you did wrong. so you can go back and correct it the next time. But it also gives you information so that you know exactly everything you used so that you don't have to wonder. Okay, now you can see that I am folding this over and I'm just going to press it down.
Somebody said
Let
that's
all
what
the
that's
colors.
what I need to do with the note cards because I can't remember anything.
Well, it is sometimes hard to remember everything that you use on a tumbler. So it does make it a little bit easier. We can't get this to pull apart now. It does make it a little bit easier for you to go back and remember what you did because you have that card and you know all the colors that you use. Because if you're looking at the cup and you're looking at pictures that you made of it, you can't always remember by looking what colors you use because some of them are close to the same. Some of them have the different um, cuts in them too if you're using glitters.
Of
And then
course.
when you're using different colors of spray paint.
You know, this kind of reminds me of those ink blot tests.
Yes, it does. It
How
does.
you don't know what everybody could interpret what it comes out to be to look a little different.
That's right. You don't know what you're going to get till you get it. But you don't want to ever rub this on there. You just want to pat it. And I always fold back this side a little bit so that when I blot it around, and I can see right there, right now, I want a little bit more red in these areas. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of red on there. So
Hey,
that
hey,
when I
everybody.
overlap it, it'll get a little bit more in here.
Just want to give you guys some feedback really quick, kind of real time. Miss Judy cannot see your comments, or she can, but she's not paying attention to them for the sake of focusing. So I'll be the one responding to the comments. So hello everybody as you're hopping on. This is Miss Judy Wilburn. She's doing a easy peasy double V tumbler for us tonight, so that you can kind of have some feedback there, Miss Lacey. And yeah, so Miss Judy, real quick, I have a quick question, and I gotta know.
Okay.
Um, I know you told me before we started doing all this that you do all kinds of crafts. What got you into cups?
My son, I work with my son 2 days a week. And he was doing power coat tumblers. So I started helping him with the designing and doing everything that he does. And that got me into it. And I just fell in love with it. And I tell everybody that he fired me because his wife wanted to come to work and help him out. So anyway, but so I stayed away for about a year and a half, and that's when I got into tumblers. And then he told me he wanted me to come back to work and work 2 days a week. So now I'm helping him 2 days a week, but he doesn't do tumblers anymore. He does window tinting, and he does stripes on vehicles, wraps on vehicles.
Okay.
So he's not doing the powder coating anymore. But the powder coating was something I did not want to get into on my own because of the way you have to set everything up.
Right.
So I did not like that. Okay, now what we're going to do. You can see how in some spots it's just really, really pretty. But what we're going to do now, we're just going to wad up our cellophane. And we're just going to put some more red on it because I see I want a little bit more red. And then we're just going to blot it. And then that's all we're going to do. And then we're going to let this dry while we go back and start. I'll show you how to do the other. But this, we're just going to blot it. And we're going to leave some of the white showing because we want that on there too. And you can see the ink dries really fast on your cellophane.
It does.
It really
alcohol ink dries really fast on a tumbler too.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's the beauty of working with it because you can go on to your next step. So.
Someone said that you're going to want me to do all the lives for you now that I can read the comments for you while you work.
Yeah, I like it. I don't think I could talk my husband into coming down here and staying with me while I do and read the lives.
Hey, we can work out and do this a couple times. I don't mind.
Hey,
That's
it does
what we're here
help.
for. It does. I agree with tenfold.
It does help.
So
it really does.
So with you working 2 days a week, you don't do you do like crafting full time or outside of whatever you're working or?
Well, I work for him 2 days a week, and then I'm working on this like every other crafter 24/7. So,
Sure.
what now?
No, that was it. I just said sure. I'm sure.
Oh, okay. But anyway, it's just something I love doing, and I really enjoy having it here at the house because I can come down, get cups going, and then get busy, doing something else. So that way I can work on them. Right now, I'm not doing anything other than cups. I'm not into the other crafts.
Yeah. So what else do you
Okay,
do?
now I've always done crocheting, the namesake doilies. That's a real popular thing that I did, and Afghans. I crocheted Afghans, and then I was into Palmer clay for a while and jewelry for a while.
Man.
Okay, now to do RVs, I'm going to show you how I make it where it's real easy. A lot of people don't have cutting machines yet. If they have them, they don't know how to use them. And I think here we're all about showing people how to do things the easy way. And we're all about helping them to learn until they get all the stuff they need to learn even more with their machines. So just take a regular piece of paper, copy paper, fold it in half long ways. Then you fold it in half, top to bottom.
So you fold it
And
hot
this is
dog,
something
then you fold it. What's the other
top
half?
to bottom.
Yeah. What do they say? They say hot dog, and then they say ham. It's not ham. Is it hamburger? Anyway, in school they used to say how you folded the paper. You fold it like a hot dog. You fold it like a hamburger.
Okay, now that's one I hadn't heard. Okay, so you've got your two folds so you can see where the centers are. And then you take one side and you fold it in on that line that you made for the center. Press it down. Now this is something, like I said, I used to do for my kids when they were little, and I made them little hats out of it. And who knew I'd be using it making tumblers, helping somebody do their beads.
Of course.
And fold it down.
Someone asked where you're from.
I'm from Bremen, Georgia. Can you
Bremen.
tell?
They can. That's why
Okay.
they're asking.
Yeah. And then this is the little hat. And my kids loved it. I put it on their head. Y'all need to make one for your little boy, Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll love it. Okay. Now the next part, you can either do it with a rotary cutter. You can do it with your cutting blade. I'm going to do it with scissors here to show you how to do it. Now, where I folded this down, we're going to cut it down this line, and that part we'll throw away. So that's what we're going to do. And this is going to help you make your V's. Okay, now that part we throw away. Okay, now we're going to cut it along this line that folds down this way. We'll cut it on both sides. And we're going to make several size V's doing this. Okay, now this is for the big V. And you'll use this as your pattern to make the big one. And then if you take and you cut this one. Now, by the way, all of these, when you open them up, they're all the same size as the big V. But we're going to cut them down. So we're going to make a V this size. And we're going to cut it along the line that we made when we folded them to get our V. Okay, so now we've got the next size. And then we're going to fold this in half, and that will make our smaller V. And that way you have all three sizes, and you have them to where then when you put them together, they're going to make the cup beautiful. Okay. Now, this way you've got all your sizes. You've got the big one, you've got the middle size one, and then you've got the little one. And that's what we've got here. And you can see it in contrast with the colors.
Oh, yeah.
You have the small one, and then you've got the middle one, and then you've got the big one.
That's so neat.
And And that way, it's just an easy way to do it, especially if you don't have a cutting machine. And a lot of people don't. They're not fortunate enough to have them. So it hadn't got there yet. I know when I started out. Now, what I did, this one, to figure out what I needed, the size for the center of this, I just took it and worked with it. And then I determined that I needed a 2-inch circle in the middle. And that would be the area that I'd work with for my quote or my design.
Very cool.
And then this one, I did basically the same thing. And this one is 1 1/4 that you need for that to work with. So that's where I did the 1776 to put it in the middle here.
And we know what that stands for.
Yes, we do.
You got a bunch of fans saying hi that watch you on
Hi,
YouTube.
everybody. I'm glad they're all here watching.
Yeah, we got
That's
some
a
people
good
that
thing.
have been watching you from YouTube and said that they
Oh.
love watching you.
Well, good. I'm glad they do. That's my desire, is to have them learn and me do it and do it quick and easy so they can get it done. Now, this is just some other things that I've got cut out that we'll be putting on it. Of course, I won't be able to put these on there tonight because we're not going to epoxy it and have it dry, but I will put them on there and show a finished product so that Cameron can post it. But now, when I put these on there, I won't be using any release tape with them. What I do, I just open this up, fold one side down, and then you make sure that you line up your points here and line it up right at the top, because you've cut them to where they're all straight. And once you line it up, then all that's going to fit in. Just push it down. And then as you pull the tape off, you'll just push it with your finger and smooth it out. And it gets all the bubbles out. Most all the time it gets the bubbles out. Let's put it that way. I don't think anything's ironclad. Okay, so now we've got that part. And then we're going to do the red. If I can get it to come loose. Let's see if we can.
While you're working on getting that loose, what's your favorite color, Miss Judy?
Blue.
Blue.
Anybody that watched me, they know it's blue.
Do you have like a favorite shade of blue, or is it just all blues?
A country blue, but I like all blues. But country blue's my favorite. Okay, now we'll do this one the same way. I folded it back, and then we're going to make sure we've got our points lined up here. And the beauty of this cup, the way that we'll be doing it, we can go ahead and put this on with it being alcohol ink. We just won't be able to do our other decals on it. Okay, and that one I did get it off a little bit there. Too big a hurry.
Wanted to know, Herman's asking how long you took as far as learning before you worked on your first one, your first cup.
Oh gosh, probably 1.5 years before I actually made a cup to sell and post.
Really?
I just made them for friends and family, helping my son. Now, when I started making them here, with him, I worked about 1.5 years. But now, as far as me making them with epoxy, I gave away my first 4, I think. And then after that, started moving like hotcakes, so I started selling them.
There you go. How many do you think you sell? Like do you sell them pretty regular now?
Yeah, I don't have a website, and I'm not on Etsy, but just word of mouth and local. And I've sold, and I've shipped them to Canada, and that's the only place I've shipped them out of the country, but all over the United States. But I try to do around anywhere from 10 to 12 a month. Okay. And then the ones that I make on here now, these, they're all for sale. Anytime I'm making cups, very seldom do I do one on a live that is for a customer. Usually ones I do for customers, I don't do on lives.
Well, the only stipulation that we have for most of the crafters that we've done up to this point, and anybody who watches these moving forward, is that you have to at least give Heather the opportunity to buy your cup first.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good.
So she wants to buy pretty much every person's cup that makes one with one of
Yeah,
these interviewer crafters, so that we have kind of a
a
collectible.
collection.
Yeah, it's more of a souvenir for us, and we're not asking for it for free
Yeah,
by any means. We want to pay you for it
yeah,
because it's your time. But
yeah.
yeah, she's even kind of poked me afterwards and be like, "Hey, have you asked her if it's okay if I buy it?" So
Well, I understand that we have to support each other, don't we, Heather?
absolutely, she said we got to support each other, right? Absolutely. So
And okay, I'm getting ready to put on the 1776, and of course, one of my numbers uh, popped up, but we'll
giving you a
get it
fit.
on there. Yeah, anybody that does cups, they know how that goes.
And you're working with vinyl there.
Right.
Okay.
And let me get this one fixed on there right quick, and then we'll get it on the cup. And if it's going to give fits, it's always going to be when you're doing a live or something like that, right?
Nothing ever goes perfect.
No, no, no. That coffee cup that I did the other night, now that thing, don't ever use Bombay ink to do a coffee cup.
Got it. I don't
It
do
looked
cups
like
anyway, so I guarantee you I'll never use
looks
it.
like clabbered milk.
Oh no.
But anyway, we're going to fix it. We're not going to strip it.
Well, of course
Okay,
not.
I think I'm going to take this off, and I am going to just put it on by itself. That's what I'll do. We'll stick it over here, and it'll be easier to put on after I've got it on there, I think. Okay. And I've got some stars that I'll put on there. So, but now, let me see. You've got to make sure when you're doing them, this is the one that's going to be going at the top. And then the one that's going at the bottom, then we've got to do the 1776 different. Here it's facing this way. And then here we've got to make it so it's going to go around the bottom this way. So we've got to remember to do this different for that reason. So we've got one that's going to be going up and one that's going to be going down.
Very nice.
So,
Do you have like a favorite kind of cup that you like to make?
I really enjoy working, and I think everybody does, with the skinny ones. Most of what I do is 20 and 30 ounce skinnies.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still have a lot of people that like the modern curves. So I still do those too.
Sure.
And I enjoy doing those.
Do you have like a favorite style that you like to do though, as far as like, do you prefer working with vinyl? Have you worked with fabric before? Is alcohol
Oh,
ink your
yeah.
favorite, or what? Do you have a favorite
You know,
style?
I just love doing what I do.
Really?
And it doesn't matter to me if it's fabric or what it is. I've done a lot of fabric tumblers, and I do mine with polyacrylic. I don't do them with
Okay.
Mod Podge. The first few I did with Mod Podge.
How does the
And
polyacrylic work, as far as from what
oh,
you've seen? Does it work a lot better?
oh yeah, it's a
Hmm.
lot easier to do, and you don't have all of the different coats you've got to put on with polyacrylic. You put it on, you do the one coat. When it dries, you're through.
That's
You don't have
nice.
to go on. Oh, it really
Did
is.
you hear
It
that,
really is.
Heather? She uses polyacrylic for her fabrics. It said that she puts one coat and it's done, instead of having to use multiple coats of Mod Podge. Heather's like, huh. You just made her
And
life so much easier.
it really does. And I do mine with the seam. I don't do the seam on mine straight. When I do mine, I make a jagged seam, and
Okay.
it really blends a lot better and
Hmm.
makes it much, much easier.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'll have to maybe one of these other lives where I'm reading the comments all for you. We'll have you do a fabric tumbler and show us how you do
Okay,
that.
well, that'll be good. I'll do it.
That's so neat.
Okay. Now we've got that one, and we've got that one. So we've got one for the top and then one for the bottom. So we'll have that ready now, and we're going to put that on there. This is dry enough that I'm going to go ahead. Normally, I would not, if I were using your release tape to put vinyl on the tumbler, I would not do it this way. The only reason I'm doing it this way is because I will be using this and lining it up at the top and the bottom and not having to put release tape on it. And I'll be doing it so that I get everything lined up without having to move. Of course, this is alive, you know, without having to move everything. So again, I fold this back, and let me see which side I'm going to put. When I do my quote, I'm going to put it on this side that's got all the blue. So I'm going to put these, I think, I'll sort of put them to the side like this. And what I do, I line it up at the top, make sure it's lined up. As you can see, I'm lining it up there. And then I hold it tight. And then when I roll this around, I make sure that that's in line. And then I press this down where I pull that back. Now, I know that's going to be straight when I put it on there. So this, we'll just start working it like we did before. And now when I get to where I put the 1776, I will have to be a little bit more careful because I don't want to rub on that and pull it off where I put that decal on there. So I'll just press it rather than rubbing it when I get to that point.
Your word of advice to people who are actually doing this would be put a coat or seal that alcohol ink or put a coat of epoxy on it before putting the V on?
If you're not comfortable doing it without having to move it, I would put a coat of epoxy on it first.
Okay.
Rather than just seal it. But now doing it this way, and once you, of course, get used to it, it's like I know I've heard Heather talk about, she's done some things so much that you feel like you can do them in your sleep.
Right. 100%.
And you just learn which way works best for you. So that's what you've got to look at doing. Take your time as you're learning and just figure out what works best for you. So that is the main thing. Okay. And I'm just rubbing this down now around the edges. And now when I do mine, I don't worry about this around the top a lot. I'll take the heat gun and pop it down, because if you look on this one, you can see where I go in and put and sand that so that I have a little bit of a silver rim around the top so that my epoxy seals good over all this vinyl. But now I will also go in and I'll hit this with a heat gun. Well, I'll go ahead and do it now so I can show you what I do. I just hit it around the top, just enough that it'll make it curl in. And then you can curl it in, and then that way when you put your epoxy on and you get ready to trim it, it's turned down and there's not any wrinkles in it. Now,
that's a good little trick too there.
Yep, not any wrinkles in it now around that top. And I do that when I do my ink pens too.
I gotcha.
Okay. Now, to make sure that you got these lined up. And if you'll note, I think I'll go ahead and pull the tape off so that y'all can see. And then I'll put it back on when I get ready to epoxy it. But I always tape the bottom of mine unless the customer asks that it not be taped. I've got one I'm working on now that the customer specifically wanted it epoxied all the way over because she wants something on the bottom. Mm-hmm. But I don't do mine because if a customer ever drops it, 95% of the time it's going to hit on the end, and that's where it cracks the epoxy, is around the bottom. So that's the reason I don't do that. I always take mine off unless the customer requests that I not take it off. So you don't epoxy
your bottoms?
No. No, I don't epoxy the bottoms unless the customer wants it done. Like I said, I've got one I'm working on now that the customer does want something on the bottom, so she does want the epoxy on it.
Okay.
So, but
it's so funny to see how everybody does things different.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I know
it's
a lot
fascinating
of people,
to me.
Yeah, a lot of people really, really don't like the look of it. with the stainless steel showing.
Yeah.
But to me, I like it. It gives it an elegant look, and I don't have a lot of customers call back and say, "Oh, my cup got broke some way or another."
Right.
You know.
Well, that, and I think
So,
too, it actually kind of gives them a point to go, this is what it used to look like, you know,
yeah,
especially when
yeah.
you have a cup like this that's fully covered outside of that bottom part.
Okay. And now what I'm doing, I'm trying to determine and make sure that I'm lining it up so that I've got the points half and half. And I just eyeball it. I'm sure you could go in and measure and mark your spots to make sure that you've got it half and half. But I just sort of eyeball mine from this side to this side. And then I go in and I'm putting this on the same way as I did the other one. And I will, if I need to, I'll go back and trim this around the bottom where I have that, where I put the tape. And I'll trim it off a little bit when I get a little further along. So, okay, I think that's good. Okay, so I press that down. You can see where I pressed it down. And then I'm going, my goal is to try to keep it as close to where I got that silver line as I can. So that's what I'm going to be looking to do. I'm doing this just like I did the other one. Just rolling it and pressing it.
While you're doing that, have you ever done a cup that you feel like describes like you as a person?
No, I
No?
never thought about it that way, Cameron.
I asked one person that question, and she had made a cup that had I mean, it was a collage type cup that just had all kinds of different things. If you watch the one with Meg Epps, that's the one that she talks about. She's made,
Oh yeah,
you know, just a ton of different small little things. The same way with Deanna. And I didn't know if you had done
uh-huh.
that. You know, I didn't know if you strictly
Yeah, a
made yours for
collage of different
resale.
things
Yeah,
in her life. Well,
yeah,
I know I've seen people do to represent places that they've been
yes,
in
yes.
life. Oh,
Someone said, I just love the sound of your voice.
okay. That's what Henry says, Papa Bear.
No,
Herman, whatever.
that actually wasn't Herman, believe it or not.
There was one lady said, "Oh, I play you at night so I can go to sleep."
You don't know how to take that as a compliment or a
Yeah,
insult, huh?
yeah, yeah.
You're just that boring, or you have that soothing of a voice, one of the two.
One or the other. Okay. Okay. Now that one did, like we're on the live, so it did come off a little bit. So I will go in and fix that. I'm not going to do it on the live, but this part is straight. So I will go back and fix that. And probably what I'll do, I may, if it pulls any of the ink up, then I'll be real careful to try to keep it in line here so that I can fix it, but I will fix that. But now that's all that I'll be
That's
doing to
cute.
it tonight, simply because we will have to put epoxy on it before we can do our other stuff. Now I do have some sparkly stars. I've got some blue stars and I've got some red stars. And I am going to do a sparkly offset for this decal. It says, "May we never forget, freedom isn't free." And that's what I'm going to put on it. And I'm going to put it on right in here in this section.
I love that.
I'll be putting that on there. Freedom isn't free.
Now,
And then
when
the
were you planning
stars,
on finishing it up?
well, there's no way I can finish it with us live because I have to put epoxy on
No,
it.
of course, of course. I was just asking because tomorrow night we're planning to do we're finishing up our live box that we're doing with Black Bear. And
Uh-huh.
if you wanted to, and you let me know if this works for you, Friday night I think would be fine for you to do it around the same time to finish up and do the part 2 for this one if you wanted.
Okay. Well, that'll be good.
Okay.
I can go ahead and put some epoxy on it tonight. And then that way it'll be good and ready for Friday night. And
Okay.
we'll do it about 9:30.
Yes, ma'am. About the same time, same everything, same as here.
That's right.
So,
Same time, same place, same accent.
same people.
And I do have, I'm not sure we'll put this on there. I do have some tape that On this one, we can go in and put some tape on here if we want to. And we could go ahead and put it on there, before we do epoxy. I think that would probably make it look good.
Just to
put some
accent
tape
some.
on. Just to accent it some. Now, I would not do that on this one because this is more of a manly cup.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to do anything to make it more girly. But for the girly ones and for this one, if we had have done this one, I've got some, well, it's sticking to my hand, y'all. Get it off. I've got some purple that I was going to put around it.
Okay.
So anyway, but that's another story, another day. But this one, I will go ahead and put epoxy on it, and then we'll come back and we'll put the decals on it, and then we can finish it up with a coat of epoxy, because I do my epoxy a little bit different than everybody else. I'm old school. I use measuring spoons to measure my epoxy. And this is the same set I've had. October will be 5 years since I've been doing tumblers, and I've used the same set of spoons all these years. So that's how I'll be doing.
Is that a silicone measuring spoon, or is it just a regular plastic measuring spoon?
No, it's just a regular plastic measuring spoon. And I just clean them with a baby wipe when I get through with them.
Huh.
And
I bet that saves you. So do you use you don't use measuring cups at all for that?
Not for my epoxy. No, and when I'm doing the epoxy method, I use this tiny, tiny spoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of A and 1/8 of a teaspoon of B. Mix it together. I heat my cup, and then I put my epoxy on it to do the glitter method for epoxy.
So how do you mix it up? Or I mean, what do you put it in to mix it up? You put it into your big spoon?
I put it in a little cup to mix it.
Okay.
Yeah, these little cups that I put it in to mix it, but I just use the spoons to measure it. And I've never had, in all these years, I've never had one cup come out sticky or not get, hardened and not finish up well as far as the epoxy drying. Now, of course, we've all had some blunders of what epoxy does. But anyway, so that's all I've got for tonight. And then what we'll look at doing, we'll come back on Friday night if that's what y'all want to do. And we'll put our decals on. I'll get the offset made so that we can do the offset for what we're going to put on there. And we'll get this thing beautiful. But that's what we've done so far tonight.
Well, Miss Judy.
And I hope that Peasy works for some people that maybe don't have a cutting machine, or if you do have a cutting machine, this is just a way that you can do it. And it really makes your V's really pretty. And this one is 3 instead of 2. Did a triple instead of a double tonight.
Yeah, I love it. If you want to pop your camera back up and show you can say hey to everybody, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. They're used to me doing that. I always pop it up and tell them bye. So we'll see everybody then on Friday night at 9:30.
Yep, we'll be
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Miss Judy. You have a good evening.
Oh, y'all too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm super excited, and strangely I learned a good bit, and I kind of had some jaw-dropping moments thinking and just listening to some of the things that she had to say about things and how she does cups. I'm kind of fascinated to learn new things, even though I don't make them. But thank you guys very much for watching this one, and we really appreciate you being here. If you guys have any questions or concerns or want to get to know Miss Judy a little bit better, I'll throw up the intro one more time so that way you guys can see. She has her Facebook page, which is Custom Made by Judy, and then she has a YouTube channel where she posts a lot of the videos that she does for Black Bear on their page as well. And this is going to be going on our YouTube as well as the part 2, so you guys can go and watch that if you'd like. But yeah, I think that's going to call it for the evening, unless you guys have anything else that you'd like to see. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us personally. We do not mind helping in any way. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night to finish up the part 2 of the Black Bear Live Box around 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then Friday, we're going to finish up the cup that Miss Judy was working on this evening. So, hope this is giving you guys plenty of content to watch. Don't hesitate to say hello, and don't hesitate to tell us what your favorite part about the live was. I hope you have a great night. Love you guys. Bye.